Hello everyone and welcome to the channel. Today I have the Honor X9a, which is the latest model released by Honor. This phone costs around $350, so it falls under the budget phones category, but at the same time it has a lot of flagship specs that makes it stand out. In this video I'm going to show you everything you need to know about this phone to make a thoughtful purchase decision, and by the way, it's available for pre-order right now and it will be available for sale on the 21st of January. But first, let's take a look at how good is the X9a. Let's start with the unboxing. The package comes with everything you might need to get started. First, you get the phone itself, and by the way, this is a review unit sent over to me by Honor, so it has the not for sale sticker on the back, but this is not a paid review by any means, and I'm gonna share my honest opinion. Next, we have another box that includes the SIM eject tool and a transparent case to get you started. Under this, we have Honor's 40-watt supercharger with a USB Type-A port, and the power cable is a USB-A to USB-C, and you also get the USB-C to 3.5mm adapter to be able to use the included wired headphone, and that's pretty much everything you get in the box. Now let's talk about the design, the build, and the looks. The first thing that caught my attention is how light it feels in hand despite the 6.67-inch display. It only weighs 175 grams, so you won't feel any pressure when you hold it for a long period of time. And as you see here, all the corners are curved, and that also makes it more comfortable. The device is very thin. It has a thickness of 7.9 millimeters. Not only this, but if you take a look here, it's curved front and back, and that makes it feel even slimmer. When it comes to the buttons, they are placed perfectly, so you can reach all of them with one hand, and they are very solid and tactile. And as I mentioned before, the display is 6.67-inch with a hole punch cutout, so you get 93% screen to body ratio. This is a very high number, and it's hard to get even in flagships. And as you see, all the bezels are even and very slim, and that makes it look great. The screen is covered with a very durable glass, and as per Honor, it's one of the strongest in the market. They didn't mention anything about Gorilla Glass. Maybe they are using their own materials, but in some markets like the UAE, for example, when you pre-order the X9a, you will get 1 year free screen protection, which means if you break the display in the first year, you will get a free replacement. You will also notice it has a very slim form factor, so it's very easy to reach the edges of the display with one hand without any problems, and also when you put a case, the device will still be slim. On the back, it has a glossy finish that makes it look like glass, but for me it feels like plastic. And as you see, it has this flagship look, but the only downside here is the fingerprints. As you see, it's a fingerprint magnet. So if you are planning to use it without a case, I recommend getting a lighter color from the 3 available colors in the market, or you can definitely put a case. You already get one in the box, so you don't need to worry that much about the fingerprints. And here we have the circular camera array that we saw in other Honor flagships like the Magic 4 Pro, and that makes it look unique. And overall, the X9a has a very solid build quality, so it doesn't bend or flex when I put too much pressure on it, so you don't need to worry about this. And here are the cutouts. At the bottom, we have the bottom firing speaker, we have the USB Type-C, we have a microphone, and we have the SIM tray. On the side, we have nothing. On the left side, on the top, we have an infrared blaster, we have another microphone, and on the other side, we have the 3 buttons. One last thing worth mentioning about the design is the metal rail matches the device color, and that makes it look gorgeous, and that's also the case with other colors. So overall, I love the design of the X9a. It has a premium look, very solid and premium materials. It has a very slim form factor. It's very thin with a 175 grams of weight, and also the display will give you 93% screen to body ratio, so you cannot ask for more at this price range. Now let's talk about the display. The first thing I wanted to check is the screen brightness under direct sunlight. Usually affordable devices don't deliver a great experience in this matter, but the X9a impressed me by how readable it was thanks to the 800 nits peak brightness, which is hard to get in its range. And you can see how it's compared against similar devices from other companies like Samsung, Xiaomi, and Google. Another great thing about the display is the 120Hz refresh rate, as it makes a big difference in the overall experience, especially when you get used to it, and if you have it in this price range, it's definitely a win. The viewing angles of the display are also great, and as you see, the color shifting is very minimal. When it comes to the image quality, you get a 6.67-inch AMOLED panel with a resolution of 2400 by 1080, which is 395 pixels per inch. The colors are vibrant, the blacks are deep, and it covers 100% of the DCI P3 color gamut. And finally, the display has a 1920 Hz PWM dimming technology, which is one of the highest in the market. And the higher the frequency, the less eye strain in low brightness. In this comparison, you can see the Honor X9a display refreshes much faster when compared to the Pixel 6a display, which means the faster the speed, the less impact on your eyes. In real life, you won't see this difference with your naked eye, but it certainly has a negative impact on the long run without you noticing. So overall, I did enjoy everything about the display because it gives you a near flagship experience in a very affordable price tag, which is a huge win for the X9a. Now let's move on to the battery. And this is another place where the X9a shines. First, it has a 5100 mAh battery, which is bigger than other flagships from Samsung and Google. So you can easily get a 2-day battery life without a problem, which is something I did experience throughout my testing. And it doesn't stop here. You also get a 40-watt charging speed support with the power brick already included in the box. The charging speed is extremely fast as it takes you from 0 to 80% in just 28 minutes. Honor also claims that the battery capacity stays above 80% after 1000 charging cycles, which is something I won't be able to test in this video, but only time can tell. Honor also used the same battery in the Magic 5 Lite model, and they got the Best in Class Global Battery Award from DxOMark, and the X9a is no exception. But beside the claims and the awards, this phone has a flagship battery capacity with a very strong battery life. Next, the performance. The X9a is powered by the Snapdragon 695 5G processor, 8GB of RAM either in the 128 or the 256 storage options, plus 5GB of extra RAM, which Honor calls it RAM Turbo. It simply uses the phone's storage as an extra RAM to enhance the performance. When it comes to normal usage like social media consumption, navigation, video calling, etc., it works just fine without any performance issues. The Geekbench scores falls under the mid-range category as you would expect from the Snapdragon 695. It only lags behind when you play heavy games like Asphalt 9, as I see a noticeable lag and dropped frames, but it works fine with the light games like Temple Run 2. The RAM management was surprisingly good as it managed to keep more than 13 apps and 2 games in memory without any refresh. And the modem performance is also great. I did a speed test on 5G and my home Wi-Fi, and both delivered the great results that matches the flagships I have. So overall, the X9a is an average performer that can do normal tasks just fine. But it's not meant for gaming, plus it gives you a great network performance. Now let's talk about the camera. You get 3 lenses on the back, a 64-megapixel main camera with f1.8, a 5-megapixel f2.2 ultra-wide, and a 2-megapixel macro. On the front, we have a 16-megapixel f2.5 lens. The photos coming out of the main sensor are good day and night with a good amount of details and balanced colors, like the examples you see on the screen. But there are a lot of drawbacks when it comes to the overall experience. First, the ultra-wide is only 5 megapixel, which is far behind the 64 megapixel main camera, so there is a big gap in the level of detail. Not only this, but also it doesn't support night mode, so you get noticeably darker images at night when compared to the main shooter. The macro lens is not great either as it has a resolution of 2 megapixels, and even in good light the quality is really low. When it comes to the front camera, the normal selfies look decent day and night with a good level of detail and accurate colors, but it doesn't produce good portraits. First, the skin is too soft even with the beauty mode deactivated, and the edge detection is not good either. Not to mention that night mode is not also available in selfies, but it uses the screen as a flash. Moving to videos, it can only record the 1080p 30 frames per second using all lenses. So there is no 4K recording and the stabilization is not great. The only advantage you get in videos is the ability to record using multiple lenses like the wide and the ultra wide, or the front and the back cameras at the same time. So overall, the camera is only capable of taking normal photos, but other than this, the quality is not as good as I expected it to be. So this is not one of the strengths of the X9a, and this will take us to the other weaknesses you will experience with this phone. First, the sound quality. It doesn't have stereo speakers, so it only relies on the main one at the bottom, and from my testing, it's not loud enough and sounds tinny. The second thing is the haptics. This phone has no haptic engine but just a normal vibration motor, so it buzzes the same way all the time without any precision. And lastly, there is no IP rating. So now I'm done with the review and here are my final thoughts. The X9a has a great design, great display, exceptional battery and decent performance, but the biggest downside is the camera, followed by the speakers and haptics. So you are the judge what matters to you the most. For me, I see this phone justifies its price tag really well despite the drawbacks, plus you will get 1 year screen protection for free in addition to wireless earbuds when you sign up for the pre-order. All of this for $300 to $350 based on the storage option you will pick. I think it's fair. So please let me know in the comments what do you think about the X9a. But for now, thank you so much for watching and see you in the next video.